Hi North Haven, this video is going to cover the Windows version of Visualizer for your iPivo.cam. This is going to cover the one that is not from the Microsoft Store. So video number 2 in this playlist looks at the one in the Microsoft Store. This one you actually download by clicking the download button. And then when it's done downloading, you're going to click on the file and install it to your computer. Now, it's mostly the same with the tools that are offered, but it has a completely different layout. So once you've downloaded and installed the Visualizer software, you're going to click the Windows down at the bottom left to find it. Right after you've installed it the first time, it should be up here, and the name is just Visualizer. If it isn't there, or if it isn't your first time and it's no longer up there, you can just start typing Visualizer and it will come up. So your tools here are going to be separated into categories, and I'm going to start with the tools first. You have the present tools, which are snapshot, record, and live broadcast. And live broadcast specifically would work with a YouTube account. Record is if you want to make a video. So if you want to, you can use this instead of Google Meet to take your videos. Snapshot is if you just want to take a picture of something. Underneath create, you have record again, but you also have the ability to record with slow motion, time lapse, or stop motion. The scan features are to scan a QR code or a barcode, but you can also scan a document. And this isn't quite as intuitive as recording, so I'm going to go through the steps for that. What you would do is you would click PDF, and then you're going to click this cursor right here, which is select area to crop. You move the blue dots to whatever it is that you want to select or scan. Once you've selected this, if you do have like a packet of work, you don't have to change the boundaries. You can just put the next sheet of paper right in the same spot. Once I've done this, I click the camera button. And then for my next page, I just take the page and I put that sheet of paper right in the same blue area, and I click the camera button again. Now I can do that as many times as I have to get all of the sheets from my document in. Then when I'm done, I click the PDF button, and then it will ask you for the file name, and you can click save. The last category is read, and the first one in there is the text-to-speech. Honestly, I haven't been able to get it to work. I watched their videos, I've tried the process that they recommend, which by the way is several steps. I don't recommend it. They want you to make a PDF first anyways, so if you need to scan something to make a PDF, just do that, and I would use the Text Help Read and Write PDF reader that we have enabled in Chrome. You also have Magnify, which for some reason is not working right now. It was working earlier today, but what it usually does is whatever you scan over, it's going to magnify. So that was working earlier. I don't know why it's not working right now. Hopefully by the time you try it, if you use this version, it will be working. The last one is masking, and this is the one that has maybe a little bit more features than the other version of this, and that is that the other version just has the gray line, and this has the kind of highlighted space. And then also you can make it bigger or smaller. You can also change it so that it's dark everywhere except for where the line is that you want to read, and that feature is available in the other version from the Microsoft Store. Other tools that you have are over here on the left. So if you want to change your camera, you can click Select Camera and change which camera you're using. You can also adjust the brightness, the contrast, gamma, hue, saturation, sharpness, and not all of these are available. So for instance, sharpness is not available in the one from the store. So there are some extra features in here. If you change it too much and don't like it, you can click reset to default. You also have a zoom. And once you're zoomed, you can use this red box to move around. You have the ability to rotate or mirror the image. So instead of physically moving the head of the camera, you can rotate the image around. I kind of like using the physical movement of the head instead. You can change the resolution. So what I can do is I can play with different types of resolution and find a ratio that works better for the size of paper that I'm using. So if you see, that one kind of fits my paper better, and I could choose to use that one. And then you can change it if you're using a different document or a book or something that fits differently. You can also change the exposure to brighten it up or darken it a little bit. That's also right here. Sorry. That's also right here on your camera. So you can do it by actually using the buttons on the camera. You can change the white balance here, just like you could change it up in settings. You can choose to do manual focus. So right now you have two options for autofocus. You can click this autofocus button at the bottom, and that will autofocus on whatever's below it. You can also click this blue autofocus button on your camera, or you can try to manually focus yourself if you want the focus to be a little bit different than what it's autofocusing on. You can use the video filters. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, as you can see, I don't really think they're fantastic. They work a little bit better in this version than they did in the Microsoft Store version. I don't know why that would be, since it's the same feature, but they are there if you want to use them. You can add grid lines, and then you can always freeze the image. And what that does is now I can change what's under here, but it's going to keep that there for now if you want to like change out documents or something. Another option for the freeze live image is if you come up here to this plus sign at the top, it creates a second window with the same camera feed. And now I can freeze my top image. And now if I want, like for instance, if I want to have two different pictures up at the same time of different pages, maybe one is the text and one is the questions to the text, this image will freeze and I can put my second image or second page here that I want them to see. The other option for the freeze would be obviously if you're working through a problem as they're working through it and you don't want them to see your work, and so you could freeze it, do your work over here, and then when it's done, resume live image and they would be able to see whatever work you did. Next to that add screen or add window is the settings gear. From here, you can turn your camera sounds off or on. They default to on. You can also change or set a file saving location. So right now mine is set to always ask. So before I record, it'll ask me where I want to save it. But if you know you're always going to save it in the same folder, you can click right here and click browse and then choose which folder you want to save it in. Same thing for the file name format. And this is actually a nice little tool, and it might be a really good reason to use this instead of Meet for videos if you're recording videos for class. And that is that you can set the file name format to always ask. That way, before it will record, it'll ask you what you want the name to be, and you'll know what video it is in your drive immediately, instead of like the Google Meets where you have to go through and kind of estimate the time and figure it out. The rest of the settings are for the specific tools, and I'm not going to go into those on this video, but I will make some other videos that go into specific tools. You can also just kind of explore there and see what kind of settings you have for those tools. Some nice options that you have when you're presenting or recording is that you can click the record button, and from here, if I click the split screen, it's going to split my screen, and then I can click over here to choose a camera, and if I want to, I can change my camera. So right now I'm already using both of my cameras, so I'm not going to set them, but what you could do is you could set one of these to the webcam on your laptop, and then your face would be here while the work on the cam would be over here. You can also, instead of doing side by side, you can do picture in picture. And from here, again, just mouse over and then click on this little camera button, and you can change the camera input. And you could make that your webcam so that they can see you here while you present over here. You can also annotate using this pen. You can change the color or the size by double clicking on this red pen over here. And then after you've drawn, you can either use an eraser and you can control the size by double clicking, or you can click clear all and it'll clear all your annotations. If you want to full screen, you can come up over here to the right and click full screen, which may be helpful if you are presenting your screen to your students in Google Meet.